What do you think of Crawford Canelo? There's a lot of talk about that.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man.
Warning signs are coming in from all corners of the boxing world, cautioning Crawford about the danger he's stepping into against Canelo Alvarez. The idea of Terence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to take on Canelo has become a hot topic. While Crawford is riding high after his dominant win over Errol Spence Jr. to become the undisputed welterweight champion, many experts believe that Canelo's size, strength, and power at super middleweight present an entirely different kind of challenge.
We see that as a weakness. Seeing how they match up, I think that we just overhyped Crawford, and I think Canelo is going to beat him up.
Why do you think he's overhyped?
The recent win against Spence, but it was mostly because people just hated Spence. It wasn't based on anything that Terence Crawford did.
And I mean, the performance he put on was amazing.
Was it the performance that could possibly lead to him beating somebody like Canelo, who's had multiple great performances, as opposed to 1, maybe 2? To be honest, he might just be a nobody if he loses, just like Errol Spence was. I kind of feel bad for him now that we set it up, but he still can cancel the...
Amir Khan, a man with first-hand experience in this territory, has been one of the most vocal in warning Crawford. Khan once made a similar leap, moving up in weight to face Canelo after a dominant win over Devin Alexander. The result was brutal. Canelo knocked him out cold. Few understand better than Khan how much of a difference a few weight classes can make. Speaking bluntly, he said, "I don't think anyone is beating Canelo. I'm hearing Crawford is moving up to 168 to fight him. I like both guys, but I just don't think Crawford should give away that much weight." Khan's perspective comes from painful experience, and it's rooted in reality.
Rumors that Terence Crawford and Canelo.
I don't think that should happen. Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Giving up that much weight against a proven power puncher like Canelo is a recipe for disaster. At 168 pounds, Canelo's punches carry real, bone-crushing force, the kind even elite technicians struggle to withstand. Khan's warning goes beyond size. It's about physics, leverage, and the raw power that comes with Canelo's added muscle. As brilliant as Crawford is, he's not a natural super middleweight. Even if he puts on the weight, there's a big difference between true functional strength and simply hitting a number on the scale.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets...
Promoter Eddie Hearn has echoed similar concerns, describing the potential Crawford versus Canelo clash as a showdown between 2 generational talents, but one marked by a major physical mismatch. Having followed Crawford's career closely, Hearn believes the size disparity is simply too great. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, he said, "It's a fantastic fight, 2 generational greats, 2 pound-for-pound stars, but I do think the weight will be too much for Terence. Even at 154, he's not a big guy. He's definitely not a big 160, and he's certainly not even a small 168. But he has unbelievable skill and a huge boxing IQ. Then again, so does Canelo Alvarez. I give Canelo the edge in that fight."
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outside.
Hearn went a step further, predicting a possible stoppage if Canelo is able to impose himself early. He noted that while Canelo is the naturally bigger man, he doesn't enjoy chasing opponents around the ring. He prefers them to stand and trade, to feel the full impact of his power. Crawford, known for his slick footwork and precise counters, isn't likely to oblige. But as Hearn emphasized, if Canelo can cut off the ring and force Crawford into exchanges, he'll gain a significant advantage. And that's where the danger truly lies.
Terence Crawford fight?
I don't think so. I think that it's much too much weight for Terence. The style was difficult, and people will say it was a poor performance from Terence, but let's just say it was a great performance from Madrimov. I think 168 is much too big for Terence, but like he said.
Ryan Garcia also shared his thoughts in a recent interview with AK and Barack, offering a blunt assessment of Crawford's chances. Having sparred hundreds of rounds with Canelo, Garcia didn't hold back. Crawford can't beat Canelo. He didn't look that strong against Madrimov, and Madrimov isn't even a big guy. The thing with Canelo is he's mastered his style. He always knows what's happening in the ring. Garcia's point goes beyond just size. It's about experience and mastery. Canelo has faced a who's who of elite fighters, including Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant. He's encountered nearly every style imaginable and found a way to win. The Mexican superstar has consistently adapted and excelled across multiple weight classes, a true testament to his ring IQ, durability, and evolution as a fighter.
Oh, and Crawford, what do you think?
That's going to be a great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason. Last question, Alex.
Teofimo Lopez has also thrown his support behind Canelo, predicting a late stoppage victory for the Mexican star. "I think Crawford is going to give Canelo a hard time in the beginning," Lopez said. "But once Canelo gets comfortable in the ring and adapts to Crawford's style, I see him finishing the fight in the later rounds." Lopez isn't wrong to emphasize Canelo's ability to make mid-fight adjustments. That adaptability is a key reason he's remained dominant at the sport's highest level. Canelo's talent for reading opponents and making subtle in-ring changes is a defining trait of his greatness. Still, not everyone is ready to count Crawford out just yet.
Before you get out of here. Listen, we can have the skills and everything, but jumping that much like that, jumping like that much, getting hit, I don't think Crawford's ever fought a fighter that's hit him directly, just straight, constantly in the arms. And it's not because they can't, they don't think that way.
Appreciate you.
Gotta clear it out, guys. Remember, this man's been pro since what, 14? 15.
Yeah.
Veteran trainer Teddy Atlas, known for his candid and often contrarian takes, offered a different perspective on his YouTube channel. He questioned the widely accepted narrative that Canelo's physical advantages would be the deciding factor. Atlas pointed to Canelo's declining foot speed and his history of struggling against mobile, elusive opponents. Can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, slicker, and better defensively? Is the smaller Crawford going to take advantage? He asked. Atlas pushed back against the idea that size alone would determine the outcome. In his view, Crawford's agility, ring IQ, and defensive craft could be the ultimate equalizers. "I'm not going against Crawford," he declared. "I do think he's that special guy. I think Canelo's special too, but Crawford even more so. He hasn't learned how to lose yet. I think he has those rare ingredients that go beyond the physical."
Crawford, his composure going to be like the moment a punch lands on him from Canelo?
Are you kidding me? Take that question back.
Yeah, why?
Because you're talking about Crawford.
Yeah.
He's
the weight classes.
He's the most composed guy. Yeah. What, you don't think he'll be prepared? You think it'll be a shock to him? No. He's already moved up 3 weight classes. So now you're talking 6 if you add on 3. Crawford has the ability to slow things down in the ring that very few people have, and to see things.
Atlas's confidence in Crawford isn't just blind optimism. It's rooted in the fighter's remarkable skill set. Crawford is arguably one of the most complete boxers of his generation, a master of distance, timing, and angles. He's never been beaten, and that undefeated record brings a psychological edge that's hard to ignore. Fighters who've never tasted defeat often carry an unshakable belief in their own invincibility, and Crawford's mindset is firmly anchored in that unbroken legacy.
Kovalev was older. He does, don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of power. But all those guys that you named is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo though?
A tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more.
Frank Warren, a veteran promoter with decades of experience, also weighed in, pointing out that Canelo has shown signs of vulnerability in recent fights. "You know, Skull was catching Canelo," he said, making the potential matchup with Crawford even more intriguing. "I always say a good big guy will beat a good little guy, but Crawford could give Canelo a real problem now." Warren's perspective suggests that Canelo's aura of invincibility might be wearing thin, that the physical toll of moving up and down in weight over the years could be catching up to him. Still, most insiders lean in favor of Canelo, largely because of the physical realities at play. Moving from welterweight to super middleweight isn't just about adding muscle. It's about adapting to the increased pace, power, and physicality of bigger opponents.
And he's got to give a lot of weight away, Crawford, but he could give Canelo a real problem now because Canelo was getting caught.
Watching that, do you think Crawford might be, perhaps licking his lips isn't the right word?
Well, I'm sure he was. He was sitting ringside. He was sitting a couple of seats away from me ringside. You could see he liked it. No schmuck. He knows his boxing. And the other thing is, you've got to look at, what's his name? Was it Modradov? Madrimov, who he fought. Also gave him a tough fight for a guy who only had 12 fights. So it's going to be a very, very interesting fight between the two.
It's about surviving the trenches against someone who hits significantly harder and can absorb far more punishment. For Crawford, the challenge goes beyond skills. It's about pushing his limits in a way he never has before. He's dominated every opponent in front of him, but he's never faced a freight train like Canelo. That reality alone is a warning too loud to ignore. Oscar de la Hoya is among those who see this clearly. The size difference has been a constant theme in every analysis, with de la Hoya firmly convinced that Crawford is biting off more than he can handle.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, this is the truth again, it's a money grab.
Despite Crawford's reign as the undisputed champion at 140 and 147 pounds, moving up to 168 pounds is stepping into a realm where raw power and size can overwhelm even the most skilled technicians. Canelo, a four-weight world champion who has competed as high as 175 pounds, capturing a WBO title by stopping Sergey Kovalev, presents an entirely different challenge. While Crawford's career at 147 pounds has been defined by dominance, knockouts, and an unblemished record, the physical reality of facing someone like Canelo is daunting.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought elite.
Alvarez hasn't just held titles across four weight divisions. He's faced some of the toughest power punchers and elite boxers whose skill and strength test a fighter's resolve like few others can. His only two losses came against Floyd Mayweather, a master technician, and Dimitri Bivol, a natural light heavyweight. Even in defeat, Alvarez went the distance both times, showcasing his durability and resilience against significantly larger opponents. For many, the outcome of this fight feels predictable, especially when reflecting on what happened to Charlo.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to.
Jermall Charlo's recent attempt to take on Canelo at 168 pounds serves as a stark warning for Crawford. Charlo, a former undisputed champion at 154 pounds, tried to bridge the weight gap, but ended up on the receiving end of a one-sided beating. The difference in strength, size, and power was clear from the opening bell, as Canelo controlled the pace and relentlessly pushed Charlo back throughout the fight.
And the biggest question to me, how will the 12-pound difference be for Terence Crawford? It's going to be his first fight at 168. For Canelo, this is the weight class that he always fights at, no problem. But I'm really curious on how Terence Crawford is going to be able to adjust to this and if it's going to be advantage or a disadvantage.
Charlo's skill and pedigree counted for little as Canelo's power and physicality dominated across 12 rounds. Despite his complicated relationship with Alvarez, Oscar de la Hoya viewed the fight as clear proof that weight classes exist for a reason. He described the potential Crawford-Canelo matchup as a one-sided affair, where the Mexican superstar's size and power would eventually overwhelm Crawford, likely around the 7th round, when Canelo begins to methodically wear him down and unleash the relentless pressure that has defeated so many challengers before.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Roy Jones Jr., another legendary figure with a deep understanding of boxing dynamics, also weighed in on the potential matchup. He advised Canelo to fully embrace his physical advantages by pressuring Crawford early and making him feel the weight difference. Having successfully competed as a light heavyweight and even captured a heavyweight title, Jones knows firsthand the mental and physical challenges of moving up in weight. He understands what Crawford will face against a naturally bigger, stronger opponent. Jones warned that while Crawford's speed and skill might pose problems for Canelo in the early rounds, those advantages would quickly diminish if Canelo turned the fight into a physical battle, leaning on him, cutting off the ring, and forcing exchanges where his power could dominate.
Fight, man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's put up in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit.
Abel Sanchez, a veteran trainer renowned for his work with Gennady Golovkin, echoed similar concerns and bluntly dismissed the fight as a mismatch. He compared it to Golovkin's bout with Kell Brook, where Brook's hand speed and technical skills gave him some early success before Golovkin's overwhelming power and size took control. Sanchez believes Crawford will face the same fate, shining for a few rounds before Canelo's relentless physicality wears him down, likely leading to a stoppage between the 9th and 12th rounds. For Sanchez, the natural size difference is simply too great, no matter how much weight Crawford adds. The punches Canelo lands will hurt, and as the fight goes on, the physical toll will only increase.
I think it's a ridiculous fight myself. I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and...
Robert Garcia, another seasoned trainer, took a more cautious stance, pointing out that Crawford's recent performance against Madrimov raised some concerns. Garcia felt that Crawford might have been looking past his opponent, possibly distracted by the looming prospect of a mega fight with Canelo. For Garcia, this lack of focus, combined with the significant size disadvantage, makes the fight a tough sell for fans. He argued that had Crawford delivered a more dominant showing, excitement around the bout might be higher. But as it stands, the prevailing perception is that Canelo is simply too big, too powerful, and too experienced to be seriously challenged by a welterweight moving up 3 divisions.
I see Canelo winning, and I'm not, you know, I don't know Canelo very well. I'll say hi to him if I see him. He'll say hi to me too, but we're not friends. You know, I could probably say I've spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, you know, because I know him better. I know him.
Despite the chorus of warnings, Crawford remains confident. In a recent interview with The Ring, he suggested that Canelo has been holding back in his recent fights, perhaps not showing his full potential. Crawford speculated that Canelo might have been reserving his best for a more meaningful challenge rather than going all out against opponents like Munguia or Berlanga. This confidence is typical of Crawford, a fighter known for defying expectations and proving doubters wrong. He also shared insights into his own mindset heading into a potential clash with Canelo, emphasizing that he's not solely focused on securing a knockout.
Start hitting me like, all right, man, maybe you on to something. You know, then I started sizing them up, and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7", you know, my arm's longer.
Yeah.
He's strong, I'm strong.
Right.
You know, it'd be, to me, skill for skill.
Right.
You know, because Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter. So, I just thought...
While acknowledging Canelo's legendary chin and the fact that he has never been stopped, Crawford believes his sharper, faster shots could cause real damage if landed cleanly. He downplayed the notion that Canelo is invincible, noting that every fighter can be hurt by the right shot at the right moment. For Crawford, the goal is to fight his own fight, to outbox and outmaneuver the larger opponent, rather than chasing a knockout that might never come. Though Crawford's confidence is admirable, it faces the harsh realities of physics and history. No fighter has ever made such a dramatic leap in weight to challenge an active pound-for-pound great without paying a steep price.
I don't gotta stop him. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys is slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with a...
Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion and a close friend of Terence Crawford, has been vocal in his confidence that Crawford can defeat Canelo. Stevenson has held this belief since as early as 2021, well before Canelo suffered his recent loss to Dimitri Bivol. He argues that Crawford's power is often underestimated, citing how Crawford has hurt heavyweight sparring partners in training, a testament to his strength despite competing in lower weight classes. Stevenson also highlights Crawford's superior boxing skills and footwork, predicting that these attributes will enable him to outmaneuver and outclass Canelo throughout the fight.
Honestly, I think Bud could beat Canelo.
Would you like to see that fight?
Would I like to see it? Yeah, I would like to see it. Just because I know, like, I don't think that, like I said, I've been saying this, I don't think size win fights. I think skills do. So, I don't know who else probably will listen to me, but I think, like, Bud, stylistically, now I think being a southpaw with good movement and sharp.
Stevenson also points out that Crawford's southpaw stance will pose a significant challenge for Canelo, who has historically struggled against left-handed fighters. Confident in his friend's chances, Stevenson has even boldly claimed that Crawford will destroy Canelo, reflecting his unwavering belief in Crawford's abilities. On the other hand, Dimitri Bivol, who famously handed Canelo a major defeat in 2022, offers a more measured and cautious take. While acknowledging Crawford as a highly skilled and dangerous opponent, Bivol stresses the challenges of moving up in weight to face a physically stronger fighter like Canelo. He emphasizes the importance of Crawford properly acclimating to the 168-pound division, warning that the increased power and physicality at this level can be overwhelming. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.